Kadosh Boker or Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Yomi Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. We're starting a new Mishnah. Okay, so says the Mishnah, ve'elu hen shematzlin otan benafshan. There are going to be certain people that you're going to save them from doing an averah by killing them. What does that mean? By killing them, that they should not do the averah. Number one, right? Somebody's pursuing his friend in order to kill him. So therefore, you're allowed to kill them in order not to do an averah of retzicha, killing somebody else. Right? He says, or you see somebody running after somebody to sodomize them, right? To do mishkav zachor, right? Homosexuality. Again, the exact same thing. You're going to come and you're going to kill them. Or running after nara norasa, which means if you see somebody coming and he's running after nara norasa, a woman that she's already engaged according to the Torah. Remember, the engagement according to the Torah is already after Kiddushin, which is giving the ring of nowadays, and therefore she's 100% married. It's not a regular engagement, it's a real engagement, which means that there's a death penalty for infidelity. Now, in such a case, what's going to happen is if you come and you see somebody running after a girl in order to violate her, so you're allowed to kill them in order to save them from doing the Averah. However, though, Aval harodef achar behema. What happens if you come and you see somebody running after an animal to do bestiality? Yeah, so they're running to go after an animal. Oh, so says the Gemara, however, the Mishnah. But if somebody's going to be running after an animal to do bestiality, which means to go with the animal, or amchalelet Shabbat, somebody's mechalel Shabbat, or he's doing avodah zarah, you can't just kill them like that. But rather, we give them hatra'ah. We let them do the Averah, and then we bring them to Bedin, and then Kaddish. Yeah, but in Bedin, right? That's what we do. That means the first half of the Mishnah was Mamash Matzlim Min Avshan. We have to kill them. We have to kill them. Why? We save them for doing an Averah. Second half, let them do the Averah. You have to give them the Hatra, obviously, because if there's no Hatra, you can't kill them. Right? So you need the Hatra, and you need the two witnesses and everything. But this is the way that it goes. Says the Gemara. Tanu Rabbanan we learned to the Braita. Minay lerodef achar chavero leorgo. How do we know that if you see somebody running after somebody to kill them, how do you know you're allowed to kill them? Right? How do you know you're allowed to kill them? Do not stand on the blood of your friend. Yeah, what does that mean? Right? Do not come and stand on the blood of your friend, which means you cannot just say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything. But 1 second. He's going to be spilling his blood. There's no other way. You have to kill him. So what, you're just going to stand there and watch the guy just kill the other guy? You can't do that. So ask the Gemara, that's what you need the pasuk for? He says, why? He says, we need it for something else. It says, which means, what happens right now if you come and you see that somebody's drowning? So you're gonna say, you know what? I don't wanna go for the swim. I don't see. That's lo ta'amod adam lecha. Right? You see listim, right? You see bandits that they're coming, they're gonna try to take a guy. Right? You want to say, I don't want to get involved. Let them do whatever they want. No, lo ta'amod adam lecha. Right? So he says, right, or even an animal that's coming and he's dragging him. Yeah, you with me or not? Yeah, everyone with me? Yeah. So he says, so therefore, right, in such a case, right? How do we know you're not allowed to just stand still? Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa. So therefore, if you need lo ta'amod al dam re'echa for this, whoever told you then that it's referring to that somebody that's going to come and kill, that you have to kill him. Maybe it's something else. Again, we already using it for something. So it's not that, you know, that you could just use it for whatever you want. So answers the Gemara, enachinam, you're right. The pasuk is not for this that we just mentioned in the Mishnah. So how do you know you're allowed to do it? It's a kal v'chomer from na'ara me'orasa. Why? Ma na'ara me'orasa, just like na'ara me'orasa, shelo ba lelufogma. He's only come to defile her, right? To embarrass her, to be mizalzelota, right? Amrat Torah, the Torah comes and it says, nitan latzila benafsho, you could come and save her with her nefesh, right? Just like we see later on in the pasuk, right? So he says, right? He says, rodef achar chavero leorgo, alacha kama v'chama. So the more so he's going to come to mamash to kill him, it's not just time to defile her, to embarrass him. Alacha kama v'chama, you're going to allow to do this. So the Gemara says, v'chiyonshim minadin. He says what? You can't just onshim minadin. You can't just come and punish from a kal v'chomer. Remember, if it's gzera shava, you could. It's not gzera shava. This is a kal v'chomer. A kal v'chomer is not the same as a gzera shava. It doesn't have the same strength. And therefore, if you're going to make a kal v'chomer, I can't just come and punish a person according to a kal v'chomer that I made. So therefore, the question is, right? So then, how do we find out? So he comes and he says, right, like this. He says, "Deve Rabbi Tana." They come and they say, "Hekeshahu." You're right. It's a hekesh. Why? Let's see what's going on. It says in the pasuk by Nara me'orasa v'lenaara lo ta'aseh davar. Right? You're not going to do anything to the Nara. En la Nara, right? She doesn't get killed. Why? Ki ka'asher yakum yishre'ehu urtzacho nafesh. Right? Kena davar hazeh. Because it's like somebody's coming in and killing him. Meaning, what do you want her to do? She can't fight back, right? She's being violated. What do you want to do? So you're going to kill her, right? You're not going to do anything to her. So he says, what are we learning exactly from a rotzeach, right? So he says, what does that mean exactly? With the ptur of the davar. What do we mean then? Because it's ki'ilu that the guy's coming and killing them. So he comes and he says, it's coming to teach you. It's making a hekesh, a juxtaposition, a close proximity between rotzeach and nara meorasa. Ma nara meorasa, just like nara meorasa, that she's being pursued by somebody to come to violate her. Nitan la'atzila b'nafsha, right? You're allowed to save her, and you're allowed to save her mamash by killing the other guy, right? B'nafsho. So he says, af rotzeach, so tu rotzeach. Nitan la'atzila b'nafsho. So it's a hekesh. Meaning, one more time, at the beginning, we wanted to bring a pasuk. How do you know you're allowed to kill a murderer that's running after somebody to come and to kill someone? How do you know? We thought it came from the pasuk, lo tamadon damrecha. Ask the Gemara, but lo tamadon damrecha is coming to teach you other things. Whether it's going to be about somebody that's drowning, that you have to go save him, or somebody that's being taken by wild animals, or somebody that's being, taken by listim. So you have to save them. That's lo tamadon damrecha. But now they have to kill the guy. Where did you ever say that? So says the Gemara, no, you're right. Kal v'chomer. Kal v'chomer nara meorasa. As the Gemara, you can't learn from a kal v'chomer, because the kal v'chomer you can kill, right? You can kill from a kal v'chomer. You can't do that, right? So therefore, says the Gemara, you're right. It's a hekesh. What's a hekesh? The two things are brought together because it says by nara meorasa, you don't do anything to her. Which one? Yes, 100%. Now we're going to see why. So he says over here, right? Because the hekesh is much stronger, right? Than look at the footnote, actually 13. Yes, look at footnote 13. Hekesh v'chen gzera shava harem kemfurashim b'Torah ve'onshim al pihem. Well, he says, why? Lefi shelo nitnu lidaresh misvara el adam tzarich lekabla merabotav. Vezo beniגוד לקל וחומר שאדם דן מעצמו ולכן אין למדים עונש ממנו. Meaning, גזרה שווה והיקש, מה אין לך?
לא, אני לא קורא אנגלית.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Yeah. So one more time. Yeah, one more time. Yeah, here we're going to have to... Yeah, one more time. Yeah, it means that we have here two different halachot. Hekesh and Gezerah Shava Selamimshos. זה אותו דבר. מה זאת אומרת? So we're going to say that they have the same strength on Shimin Adin. However, though, there's going to be Kal v'chomer. Kal v'chomer is not like a Hekesh and Gezerah Shava. Gezerah Shava, you have to be mekabelet and rabotecha. Meaning, I can just invent. I'm going to go to Torah codes, Bible codes, and say, you know what? I have the same word here. Boom, magic. This, that, right? No, doesn't work. Yeah, what happens? It has to be mamash exactly the way that I had to come from my rabbi to his rabbi to his rabbi to his. Same thing with a kesh, all the way back to the Sinai, and that's why he says the exact same thing will happen with a kesh. So since it has to happen, the exact same thing, Gzira Shava and a kesh.
Hekesh also has to be.
Yes, that's what we just said. Hekesh also has to go back up. And not like a kal v'chomer. Kal v'chomer, I can make a kal v'chomer. You can make a kal v'chomer. So if we could all come and make a kal v'chomer, right? So therefore, exactly, you did it yesterday. So what happens? So if you're going to make a kal v'chomer, it has to be, here there's a lot of people that like to make a kesh. But again, it has to be merabotecha. It has to come from the rabbis, the kesh. Yeah, it continues going on. No. Fine, let's go. Says the Gemara. No. So fine. Says the Gemara. Yeah, he comes and he says like this. V'nara meorasa gufa minala. Ask the Gemara, you guys listening? Nara meorasa itself. How do you know? How do you know by minara meorasa itself that you're allowed to kill the guy that's coming to violate the woman? So he says, Tanya David Ishmael, just like we learned in the Academy of, right? David Ishmael, Tanya David Ishmael, ve'en moshia lah. It said in the pasuk over there, why is it She was screaming to be saved. Because obviously, if she's screaming for him to continue, obviously we're not talking about that. You understand? We're talking about that she's screaming that she wants to be saved. Ve'en moshiala. Nobody's there to save her. Why does the pasuk say ve'en moshiala? Mashma hamoshiala. If there is somebody to save her, bechol davar yachol leoshia. He could save her in any way possible. Which means that even if ultimately that means the death of the person of the pursuer that he's coming to run after her to come violate her, go for it. You have to do it. Why? And moshiala. That's where they learn it from. Okay, until here we're clear? Fine. Gufa. We learned to the Braita. מניין לרואה את חברו שהוא תובע בנהר או שחיה גרורתו ושים להימנע שהוא חייב לצילו, אבל לומר, לא תעמוד על דם רעך. Right? You're not allowed to stand idly by the blood of your brother. So says the Gemara, Veha me'acha nafka. That's where you learn it from. He says, right? Mehatam nafka. Right? He says, why? I thought you learned it from another pasuk. Because the Torah says to do with hashavat aveda. So he says, avedat kufo minayin. Meaning like this. Right now, let's say, right, John Doe has his glasses over there, and I find them. So I have a mitzvah of a shavat avida. What is a shavat avida? It's a mitzvah. So I come, I take it, I say, here's your lost object. It's a mitzvah min Torah. Yeah? Hashem tashiv lo. Now the question though is, how do I know about his body? His body. How do I know I have a mitzvah of giving back his body if it's being lost? By the way, you should know there's a whole thing. Huh? No, not deceased. That if he's going to lose his body, right? They, by the way, they make this kavachomer to do with, for example, somebody that's being somebody that's not on the path, and you want to be machzir otam b'tshuva. So they speak about, right? Should you not just stand by idly because of lo ta'amod al dam recha, or do they speak about the mitzvah, the kavachomer from hashavat avida as well? Which means that if you have a mitzvah to give him back his lost object, kalvachomer, you have to give him back his neshama, which means that you have to actually come and you have to. Right, you have to actually, give him back the neshama, which means you have to help him to do teshuvah, because that's hashavat aveda. But not an aveda of a lost object, but a hashavat aveda of his lost soul. You have his neshama. Yeah? So he comes and he says, right, how do you know, right, by avedat gufo menalan, how do you know? So he says, minayin. He says, samulomar vashevoto lo. Meaning, since it says in the pasuk, hashev teshivim la'achicha vashevoto lo, which means you shall surely return it to your brother and give it back to him. Why did it say Vashavot Lo? Vashavot Lo is extra. So says the Gemara, the fact that it's extra, it's coming to teach you that you have a mitzvah to do a Shavat Aveda lo rak al mamono, ela al gufo also. Which means not only on the money, but also on the guf. So according to that, says the Gemara, why are you telling me that you have to learn it from lo ta'amod adam recha? You don't need from lo ta'amod adam recha. You know where you learn it from? Vashavot Lo. If you have a mitzvah to give him back a lost object of money, monetary money, Kalvachomer, you have to come and you have to give him back, right, of everything else. Okay? Until you were clear. Okay. So says the Gemara, if it was only going to be from Hashavat Guf that we learn it from there, Havamine Hanamile, I would have thought to say one of these words, Benafsheh. Yeah? If he could save himself from himself. Avalamitrach umegaragure. But what about to get somebody to pay them to do that? Elmaleh. I would say that you don't have to do that. Kamashmalan comes to teach you lo ta'amod adam re'echa. What does that mean? Let's explain. Right now, we have a mitzvah of hashavat avida. Imagine right now, I cannot do hashavat avida. Am I obligated to come and to pay people to come and to do it? So obviously, right, the question is, why in the world would I be obligated to do that? If I could do it myself, that's one thing, right? But not to come and start getting people, right, to start paying them to do all these things, right? So he comes and he says, if I only would have learned it from Vashevoto Lo, you have to give it back to him. It's only if you yourself, you could give it back to him. But what happens if you can't? Do I have to start hiring a crew to do that? Or not? That's the question. So if you learn it from Lo Ta'amod Adam Re'echa, yes, because at the end of the day, you're just standing idly from watching your friend be killed. No, you're not allowed to do that. But if you said Vashavot Lo, I would have said, listen, right now, you can't do anything about it. That's it, Kaddish. Listen, we apologize. There's nothing what you could do. Okay? Tanu Rabbanan. We learned in a Braita. כן, בגלל לא תעמוד אדם רעך. בדיוק. ודאי, אבל עוד פעם, למה צריך לא תעמוד אדם רעך? היה מספיק והשבותו לו של השבת אבדה. מתרצת הגמרא, אם זה היה רק והשבותו לו, אז אתה לא צריך לזכור פועלים. עכשיו שכתוב לא תעמוד עוד אמריך, אתה חייב לזכור פועלים. That's why you need the לא תעמוד עוד אמריך הזו. אוקיי?
עכשיו זה in case...
תנו רבנן. We learned in a ברייתא. אחד הרודף אחר חברו להורגו אחר הזכר ואחר נערה מאורסה ואחר חייבי מיתו בדין ואחר חייבי כריתות מצילין אותן בנפשו. If a person is going to come and he's going to run after his friend to kill him, whether it's after the zachar, whether it's nara meorasa, whether it's chayve mito betin, whether it's chayve kritut, matzilin otan benafsho, they're going to come and they're allowed to come and save them. Okay, so mamash, in all these cases, so it doesn't matter whether it's going to be zachar, horgo, nara meorasa, chayve mitot v'chayve kritut. Okay, fine. אלמנה לכהן גדול, גרושה וחלוצה לכהן הדיוט, אין מצלין אותו בנפשו. We don't save them. Yeah, we don't save them. So the truth is, though, that I don't know exactly what's the... because it's a Kohen Gadol that's running after an almana, leonsa. Or he's going for the grusha v'chalutza. So then we don't save them. Because again, that means even though it's a pagam, because she becomes a halala, but it's not the same like chayve kritut or chayve mitot, we kill them. Meaning by nara marasa, it's mamash, she's a married woman. So we have to come and we have to kill the guy. Right? But by almanatu a kohen gadol, okay, so it's a pagam. You made her into a halala. She becomes a halala, so she can't get married to any other kohen. But it's not that bad that it's coming mush, you have to come and you have to kill the kohen gadol. You understand? Or the grusha v'chalutza to a kohen idiot. Okay? Fine. Nevda ba avera. What happens if the avera was already done to her? So en matzilin ota benafsho. Then we don't save her. Yeah? Imagine, you have an aramorasa. She already committed infidelity. So now, and somebody's now coming, is Bemet is going to come and is going to violate her. You don't save her. Why? Because if she already was mafkida et atzma, so that's it. You don't come and you don't do that. Yesh la moshia en matzilin ota benafsho. So therefore, if there is a way to save him, to save her, without killing him, so you do it and you don't save with the neshama. Rabbi Yehuda says, Afa omeret hanichulo shelo yargenu. The same halacha would apply if she just says, leave him, don't kill him, don't do anything to him. Also, right? So here he actually explains that the pshat is hanichulo shelo yargena, that she's afraid that if the guy's going to come and do something, it could be that he's going to kill her first. So if he says, don't do anything to him, but she doesn't want to get killed, so therefore we don't kill him as well. Okay? Which one?
Why you don't say the nara meorasa?
Because she said, leave him, don't kill him, because maybe he's going to kill me. So therefore that's it.
Wait a second. Wait, come again?
That's the Gemara Menahani Mile. How do we know these words? What does that mean? Amarka, the pasuk says, "V'lanara lo ta'aseh davar en lanara chet mavet." Lanara ze, right? When it says in the pasuk lanara, it's actually written lanar. There's no hey. It's written lanar. It does not have a hey. Lashon zachar. So ze zachur. That is the zachur also. Na'ara is nara morasa, right? When it does have the hey. When it says chet, it's chayve kritut. Mavet, chayve mitot. Everyone's with me. Basically like this. In the pasuk, it says, Lanara lo ta'asa davar, and lanara chet mishpat mavet, right? Chet mavet, right? What does that mean? So he says, why does it say this pasuk? So this pasuk, each word is coming to teach you something new. So the word lana'ara, when it does not have a hey, it says na'ar. What does it mean na'ar? That even if you have a boy with another boy, meaning the guy, right, which is the anas, right, the guy that's violating, he's running after male. That's why it says na'ar. So therefore, what happens? You have to save him, right? You have to kill him. You have to kill the guy. Don't let him just come and violate this other boy, right?
Boy to boy.
Yes. Yeah. Because it says na'ar without the hey. It's written without a hey. But there is a place where it's written with a hey. So that's obviously not al-morasa. It says chet. So chet is chayve kritut because it's a sin. Chet. When it says mavet, chayve mitot, met, mavet. So therefore, each word in the pasuk is teaching you another category which you're going to come and you're going to have to save them by killing the guy. Capish? Until we're clear. So ask the Gemara, Kol Hani Lamali. Why do we need all these things? So he says, Sriche, we need it. He says, why? If the Torah only would have said Na'ar, Mishum de lo varche. You're going to say, you know why? It's not normal. Zachar. Meaning, homosexuality, right, is not normal. Yeah?
The Torah give us the warning about it.
But it's not normal.
It is not normal.
Very good.
The Torah says,
And so to bestiality, you're going to tell me bestiality is normal? So therefore, the Torah just prohibits what's prohibited, but at the end of the day, it's not normal. So I would have had a havamina that if it was only written na'ar, so only if a man's running after another man, you have a permission to kill the guy. Why? He's doing something not normal. Right? But nara, it's normal. Meaning, how many times do you have these problems that they're coming, they're violating women? You have that all the time. So therefore, since it's going to be something more normal, I would think, listen, you can't kill the guy, right? So he says, right, it becomes like something which is normal, right? I always tell you, in Spain, right, they made a new law. A person kills his wife, it's 5 years in jail, right? Yeah, why? It became something normal. So the minhag was, you come, you get married, right? Make sure you get married to somebody with a lot of money, right? And then afterwards, just make sure that, okay, fine, 5 years in jail, but afterwards you get a lot of money. What's the big deal? You understand? Huh? Yeah. Yeah. So he says, V'i katav rachmana, right? I katav rachmana na'ara. Now, if it was only going to be written na'ara, mishum pogemla, because at the end of the day, he's making her a pgam. Why? He's making her that she's not a betula anymore. So therefore, like he's stealing her. But he says, but na'ar, there's no pgam. Meaning, if somebody does homosexuality with a man, nothing really happens. Okay, it hurts, but I'm saying, but there's no defect afterwards.
Today, this defect, you know, people turn to be homosexual.
Aval na'ar, delo kapagimle, emalo, v'i katav rachmana hani. Now, if the Torah would have written these things, right? Ayin gimel ubet 73b. So he says, mishum dahayla volchehu, because it's not normal. Veha kapagimle, and again, this one is a pgam, meaning like this. What happens if the Torah would have only written the two to do with the male, right? Velena'ar and na'ara, which is the female. One of them is because it's not normal, right, by the male, and one of them is because of the pgam, the defect. So he says, but then not anything else. Aval shararayot, that it's normal and there's no pgam. So I would say no. Person comes, whoever it is, right? He says that's why he says Elmaleh katav rachmana. That's why the Torah says chet. V'i katav rachmana chet. If the Torah would have only written the chet, havamina filu chayve lavin. I would have thought to say it's even chayve lavin because it says anytime that it's an avera. So that would include any type of an avera as well. Katav rachmana mavet. That's why the Torah wrote mavet to teach you that it has to be something of mavet as well. V'i katav rachmana rak mavet. If it would have only written mavet, havamina only chayve mitot betin. In chayve kritot no. So that's why the Torah had to write chet. Everyone until here, clear. One more time. Each word was to teach you something new. Vila na'ar is for a boy. Na'ara for nara morasa. Chet chayve kritut. Mavet chayve mito bedin. Says the Gemara, why do I need each one? This is very, very simple. If it was only written vila na'ar, it's only a boy. So I would have thought to say only the boy and not the girl. Why? If the boy is not normal, the girl is normal. So fine, you have to write the girl. If you would have only wrote the girl, I would have said that the girl is normal, but there's a pagam, and that's why you have to kill him because of the pagam. The boy, there's no pagam. You don't have to kill the guy that's running after him. So therefore, you have to write both. If it was only written those two, I would have thought to say because it's not normal or there's a pagam. Everything else, there's no problem. No chet. Why chayve kritut? If it was only written chet, I would have thought chayve lavin, which is almanat or kohen gadol or grusha v'chalutza or kohen idiot or any other chayve lavin, right? So says the Gemara, no, you're right. So what is it? How do you call this? Mavet. It has to be mavet. So he says, so only write mavet. So no, if it will only write mavet, so only mavet, maybe not chayve kritut. So therefore, so says the Gemara, fine. So write chet mavet, right? Velo bae, and then you don't need nada nada. If you already tell me nada nada, right? You don't need that because you have chet mavet. So says the Gemara, in achanam, you're right. Velanar v'nada chad lemiute oved of the kochavim, echal lemiute behema v'shabbat. One of them is coming to exclude, right? Somebody that's going to come to do avodah zarah, and one of them is going to come to exclude, or one that's going to come to do a behemah or b'mechalel Shabbat. Meaning, if it wasn't for these two miutim, I would have thought to say that the avaryanim that are doing these averot are also going to be chayavim. And therefore, he comes and he says, when it comes to tell you zachar or na'ara me'orasa, it's coming to tell you that even though there's an embarrassment or a pagam, right, and not that somebody that's doing other averot, because in other averot there's no pagam, there's nothing there. So therefore, again, you're not going to kill them. So says the Gemara, but according to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, do you know there's a shita of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai that he says avodat kochavim nitan latzilu enasho? You're allowed to kill him when we're talking about avodah zarah. Meaning, according to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you come and you see somebody running to do avodah zarah, you shoot him, kill him, knock him dead, right? So says the Gemara, huh? So he says, you're right. Chad lemiute behema. Shabbat. You're right. One of them is for Behema, one of them is going to be for Shabbat. I would have thought to say Teiti Shabbat, right? I would have thought to say that really Behemet, you're going to make a Gzera Shava Chilul by Avodat Kochavim and Shabbat, because it says Mechalea Motumat and it says Velo Techaleret Shem Elohecha. So since it uses the same terminology, Chilul, also by Avodah Zarah and also by Shabbat, Selam Mishos has the same halachot, which means just like by Avodah Zarah you're allowed to kill, so too by Mechalel Shabbat you're allowed to kill, right? So says the Gemara, and because of that, that's why we're saying that there's a miut to say that you're not going to kill them if somebody's going to come and to be Mechalel Shabbat. Okay, so he says that he says that by Mechalel Shabbat you do kill him, but he says that you do make a Gezerah Shava from Chilul me'avodat kochavim. So what are you going to say then? One more time. According to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Avodah Zarah you do kill. So he says, if according to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Avodah Zarah you do kill, and there's a Gezerah Shava from Shabbat to Avodah Zarah, so according to Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon, you do kill also for Shabbat. So what are you going to say then? That means there's another two halachot that you also kill for. For Shabbat, somebody that's going to come Mechalel Shabbat, you kill him. Or Avodah Zarah. So says the Gemara, you're right. Chad lemiute, right? Chad miut, lemiute be'ema, the idach, and the other one is Idi de Katav, Idi de Katav Rachmana Na'ar, Katav Nami Na'ara. Meaning that even though it's written Na'ar, we also wanted to write down Na'ara because that's the Pashut Pshat of the Torah. The Pashut Pshat of the Torah is we're talking about a Na'ara Me'orasa. We're not talking about a Na'ar, we're not talking about a male, we're talking about a female. Right? The guy's running after him to thing, is running after her. So therefore, the Torah wrote Na'ar and then it wrote Na'ara. Na'ara is Kipshuto. Na'ar wrote it to exclude one exclusion. What is the one exclusion that we excluded? Behema. That if he's running after a behema, you don't kill him. Again, this is only according to Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon and Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. So Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon added Shabbat, and Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai added Avodah Zarah. Rabbi Yehuda comes and he says, Afa omeret anichu lo shelo yargena. The same halacha would apply that if somebody is coming to save her, and he comes and he says, no, let him do whatever. Why? He says in order that they don't kill, he doesn't kill her. What is the machloket there? What's going on exactly? Rava says, במקפדת על פגימה ומניחתו שלא ירגנה, right? רבנן סברי, דהפגימיה קפיד רחמנה, פרי מקפדת על פגימתה. רבי יהודה, היידה כמה רחמנה קטלה, משום דמסרה נפשה לקטלה, אבל הלא מסרה נפשה לקטלה. What does it mean like that? What exactly is going on? You have a guy that's coming and running after Na'ara Me'orasa, and he's going to violate her. By doing so, he defiles her, he violates her, and he gives a pagam. Right? But now she's not a betula anymore. Right? So he defiles her. What happens is that the Torah says you have to kill him. You're supposed to come and you're supposed to save him. When are you supposed to save him exactly? So according to the first shita, the machloket is going to be that is she makpida right now on her begam, right? And the only reason why she's telling them to stop is she just doesn't want to get killed. Because if the guy comes, he turns and he sees somebody's running after him to kill him, maybe he might just come and just kill her. Which sometimes happens. You know, said that why do they have to be careful with hostage situations? Because many times the guy just might come and just kill them. So even if they're violating them or they're doing something, they could actually come and turn around and actually kill. So you have a person has to be careful. So he says the first one, right, is according to Rabbanan, they hold that the Torah was makpid on the pagam. And therefore here she's also makpid on the pagam. So therefore you kill him, even though she says don't kill him. We kill him. Why? Torah's makpid on the pagam. We're makpid on the pagam. You kill him. It's a defect. The second one, which is Rabbi Yehuda says, the only reason why we usually kill the guy is because she's putting her life in danger, which means that maybe Be'emet, she's going to go against him. She's going to fight it, and then he kills her. So because she gave over her life to be killed, we come and we kill her. Here, she didn't do that because she's not giving over her life to be killed. So for here, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you're not allowed to kill her. So basically, the question is, what was the Torah when the Torah come and had the foresight? We come and we kill the guy. What was the reason? Was it because of Gam, and therefore she is makpida al Gam, but she just doesn't? She just said, "Listen, she prefers a Gam than being killed," or is it because she had to give up her life? So if you learn that it's on the Gam, so over here we're going to kill him as well. If you learn that it's only giving up the life, here she's not giving up her life, and that's why according to Rabbi Yehuda, you don't do that. So I'm a little Papa Labai. Says Rav Papa. What? So now says the Gemara as follows. Yeah, says the Gemara. Amar le Rav Papa Labai. It says Rav Papa Labai. Almana le Kohen Gadol nami kapagim le. Almana to the Kohen Gadol zo pagam. Why is there a pagam? She becomes a chalala, right? I mean, she becomes a chalala. So says the Gemara. Amar le abgima rabba kapid rachmana pigima zuta lo. The Torah was only makpid on a big pagam, not on a small pagam. Meaning the big pagam is isura rayot, not chayave lavin. Okay, because it's not the same. So therefore, it's not going to be the same pigima. So says the Gemara, chet, when it says the word chet, these are chayve kritut. Or meaning we have a contradiction. Velu na'arot sheyesh lahem knas. There's going to be certain. There's a list of which na'arot do they have knas. So it says habala choto. If somebody comes with his sister. So and then the Mishnah comes speaks about chayve kritut, and one of them is going to be the sister. So he comes and he says over there, why is it that he's going to be chayav the shalem knas? He says if right now he came and he violated her, he should be chayav mita midin rodef. Now if he's chayav mita midin rodef, he does not pay knas. Why? Kimle bedraba minei. You always give him the more stricter punishment. So Amru Rabbanan kamed Rav Chasta. They said this in front of Rav Chasta. Mishum ha'ara'a debgama ibtala miktala. Right? Mamona lemeshalem ad gmar biyah. He says like this. He says, when is a person going to be chayav on the rodef? The chayav on the rodef is, or the begam, is always going to be from hara. Meaning the second that he inserts his male organ inside, that's it. That's already the begam. That's already the everything, right? Why? He's going to be patur from getting killed, right? He's going to be patur because he's going to be killed, right? But he comes and he says, "Mamona lo meshalem ad gmar biyah." But when does he start paying the money? When he gets rid of her betulim. That's at the end of the biyah. Meaning there's the insertion and then there's actual breaking of the betulim. The breaking of the betulim is after the insertion. So therefore, since the insertion is when he's going to be chayav, so therefore from then that's going to be two different times. And therefore, since it's going to be two different times, he's not going to be patur from the tashlume knas, but the tashlume knas comes at a different time when he was already chayav the mita. He's chayav the mita immediately. The second that he does hara'ah, he's only chayav the tashlumin later on when he breaks it. So
before.
Exactly. So therefore, he gets both. When do we say kim libdera b'minem? When it comes at the exact same time. When a person came and he mechalel Shabbat, and at the same exact time that he was mechalel Shabbat, he destroyed somebody's property. So he turned on a fire on somebody's property and it burnt the property. He was mechalel Shabbat and destroyed the property at the exact same moment. But what happens if it happens afterwards? What happens if he comes and he does something mechalel Shabbat and he destroys the property later on? He has to pay for both because it's not at the same time. It's not at the same time. It's further on. It takes time. That's what we're saying. So hani mandamar. That's according to the mandamar. The hara is nishika. What does that mean? That it's considered nishika. Nishika means that the fact that the ever, his male organ touches, right? Kisses, literally, that's what it means, the organ of the woman. But according to the mandamar, hara is achnasat hara, that you're actually going inside. So ma'ikalamema, right? That the crown actually has to go inside. So what are you saying then? So elam Rav Chasta kegon shebalea shelo kedarka vechazaru ba'alea kedarka. No, very simple. He first had relations with her shelo kedarka. So now when it was shelo kedarka, ma. Right? No. One second. Right? Yeah. Well, listen carefully. Yeah, look at that. So 1 second. So therefore, right? Yeah. No. 1 second. No. He's 1 minute. 1 minute. So he says, first of all, he's coming and he's saying that what? That
You're talking about. First,
no. Shelo kedarka. So since it was first shelo kedarka, he's already chayav karet. Because remember that the second that he does shelo, but there was no knas. Why there's no knas? She's still a betula. There's a betulim is still there, right? She's not considered a betulam. He said that she was well, but she still has betulim. On the betulim, he's only going to pay once it's kedarka. So that came afterwards. So since it came afterwards, that's why he's going to have to pay for both of them. That's the second answer. Because the first answer was that there's going to be Hara, and then it's going to be the breaking of the betulim. It came at 2 different times. He's going to be chayav both. Now we talk about shelo kedarka and kedarka. Third answer, Rav Amar, manichato, right? Which means they come and they say, leave him. Shelo yargena. And this is Shitat Rabbi Yehuda. If you remember, we already said that according to Shitat Rabbi Yehuda, we said that what happens if she comes and says, don't kill him? Why? Leave him, but she's afraid that she's going to be killed. So in such a scenario, we're not going to come and save the woman. Why? Because he's not going to be chayav mitah, right? So therefore, since he's not going to be chayav mitah because we don't kill him, so obviously he has to pay the knas. And then there's going to be another 2 answers that we'll speak about Bezat Hashem